Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Dominions 5 Multiplayer Showdown episode 20 turn 20 with our series here. And Chris will not be joining me for this commentary today. He is having some issues with his microphone, which is no big deal. We're going to go over everything here, and then I've actually already been communicating with Chris regardless for the turn, and so me and Chris had already screen shared and set up the game. So for this particular episode, I'm just going to be going over some of the things we talked about and the way we set everything up in the game, and I'll show that off here. But let's go ahead and go down the list of things we've got. So we had a messenger arrive from Man. It says, "Greetings, noble Pythium. We give notice that Midgard will most likely tilt at the throne of Pafiot, or however you want to say that. 3 points, located in your territory at 10, province 10 there. And win the game in the coming months. If they take the territory, there won't be time for warnings or talking. Will your armies be in a position to retake this land should it become necessary? Midgard will appear over the water in their long ships with a large force of vans. They will use glamour, speed, and lightning to fight if that helps, the Wardens of Avalon." And I did send him a message, and we'll go over that. We had somebody take the Throne of the Second Age. We found didn't find any magic sites for the two places we searched. We had a battle with our independents here. This was where we used the Pegasus to essentially attack we had set them up to try to kill the Mound King, so that way we would get, the undead forces would crumble without a leadership. And as you can see, it worked flawlessly. So we actually win that there. We've got the battle in Grass Plains. This was between Miklan and Ulm. So it gave us a chance to kind of see a little bit of Miklan's units, but not really enough. His units do turn around and flee, so we didn't really get a good look at what he was doing here. Got some Jaguar warriors and a couple of priests, but aside from that, there's really not a whole lot. And then we got to see Ulm's forces here. And those forces end up retreating. We had a battle between Ulm and Pangaea, which was interesting. This was a battle over the province that Pangaea had originally taken with a small force. It looked like he was building some province defense up here, but as you can imagine, just by looking, the province defense was no match for Ulm's army. He just shredded that province defense there and ended that fight. And then we just had a scout that we lost to one of, just got caught in one of the provinces of the Satis forces, and we could finish the construction for Goodlands. So here is the whole setup here that we've got. Like I said, we already went through and did all of this, but I'm going to go ahead and explain what we're doing, because it's really simple to explain. This was actually a very short turn for us, because we don't have a lot really going on. We don't have any battles or anything aside from the stuff we've already done. So what we did is we switched the manual here with the ring of underwater breathing between the two. So now we've got a nice healthy commander ready to go. He's going to be moving up into the Horn Eater Deep to take this province. That'll put him within one turn of attacking here. So we can do that. We've gone ahead and moved forces into the swamp here, as well as Wolf's March. So we're just getting ready to get all our forces in a position to be able to attack this province here, which we now know, or at least, excuse me, I bumped my mic, which we presume to be the level, or the 3-point throne, which Man has told us he believes that, or he may have a magic ability that tells him that, but he's saying that that's the 3-point throne, which I've had my guesses the whole time. So I assume that that is the 3-point throne. So here's what we're doing right now. We're putting our units in a position where we're either going to destroy Midgard's army if he takes the throne, and if he doesn't, we're going to attack the throne and take it for ourselves and put a fortress there. After we take that, we're going to move our armies back up to Bleak Grove and continue our battle with Satis, trying to push Satis forces back and take as much provinces as we can. You can see here that Satis has actually taken Dread Squid Wash, which is really bad, because we needed that. He used some long deads to do it. We're not too concerned about these long deads attacking us, because they really wouldn't be much of a match for our units. So not a big deal. I'm going to turn the audio down just a little bit because I think it's too loud. That's where I had it originally. Okay, and then here's the province that Ulm took back from Pangaea. You can see that Ulm actually took this throne from Midgard, which is interesting. But Midgard's all the way over here, and they may take Moss Flowers. We're not sure. We're trying to get a scout up there and see. We've got more scouts just moving around. Scouts moving this way because we want to see if Utgard and Miklan are fighting. Scouts and Man over here. And we've got scouts that we're moving down because we want to try to see what's going on up and around here. And we've got a scout moving. Where's my scout? Where is he? This scout here. We're going to try to move him around and see if Ulm and Midgard are fighting right here because we got High Watch we want to check out. And we want to move into Midgard territory anyways and see where these thrones are kind of positioned. So that's why we're actually building scouts in Wolf's March, and we've got scouts in Cerulean Views as well being built. Aside from that, we're doing pretty good. We've got just the standard recruiting, some Pegasus, and recruiting a Hydra and some Cataphract, Serpent, and an Aqualite we've got coming out here. As well as we've got the Heliodramus or whatever there. We're working on that. And over here, we're actually working on starting to build some of these on repeat recruitment so we can work on getting some death magic. We've got an Aqualite. We're moving down to Bishop's Droop. We're going to put a lab here, which we're going to use to build some of these units so we can try to get some earth magic. And I think that's about it. And there's Netherwall up there, which we took. And that force is actually moving to Wolf's March. So we're trying to gather as many forces as we can for the attack here. Everybody should be able to attack this next turn. It should be a very large force, like something like 20 Hydras or something. It's ridiculous. And Chris is very confident, and I'm a little more skeptic, but still confident, because I trust Chris, that we'll be able to take this province, which will gain us the 3-point throne, as well as what I assume to be a pretty tough throne, and hopefully some good benefits with it. And it'll put us a little bit closer to victory than some of the other people. We'll probably turn our gaze more towards like this throne. Obviously, Pangea's throne would be an option, but I'm trying to keep on good grounds with him because he is at war with Satis, and so I'd rather not attack him if we don't have to, but we could always do a snipe if there was an emergency, but I'd rather not. But we've got this throne. If we ever had to attack man, we've got a throne here. Be a little tricky to grab, but we could do it, and we've got this throne here. So there's 3 thrones that are a little bit more in our reach. If Midgard does get upset that we took this, we could always consider trying to take Midgard's throne here. He may actually, I don't think he'll lose it to undead forces. He'll claim it, but he may still have some difficulties with that regardless. Just because of where it is. But yeah, so that's where we're at there. And yeah, we got to deal with this, but we're not as concerned. We could deal with that later. These forces will be easy to squash up, and we won't feel bad for taking them because we're at war with Satis anyways. And we've left this undefended, but we're not worried about that because he would have to take Gornahor. We're figuring we could take this pretty quickly, move all our forces back. He wouldn't be able to siege us down faster than we would be able to counterattack, so we'll be cool with that. These guys were moving up to Horneater Deep. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think I did. We're going to take Horneater Deep, and then that still puts them within 1 turn of attacking this from water to land province. And I think that's about it. I think I rapidly covered everything as fast as I could, just to do a quick overview of what's going on. But like I said, there wasn't really a whole lot, because it was really just a lot of moving troops around and then just talking about how we were going to handle this. So, like I said, if Midgard takes this, we're going to counterattack his army. If he doesn't take it, next turn we're going to attack it. Everybody will be in position to do that. So we'll be able to attack that and hopefully take it. As for research, we'll have construction level 5 in 2 turns. That gives us the I can't even remember their names, the Mandarakes or Mandarin something. The Vine Warriors, essentially. So we'll have those in 2 turns, and then we'll be on to enchantment. We're at 162 research power right there per month. So what I'm hoping is that by the time we get construction level 5 in 2 turns, we'll be getting 200 per month, and we'll be able to get enchantment level 5 in 2 turns, which would be pretty nice. And I've gone ahead and I've sent messages off to Man and Pangea. I can right click to read the messages. Perfect. So I said, and excuse me if some of this is misspelled. I obviously don't have spell checker, and I'm quick to type these out because I'm trying to get the turns moving through. But Wardens of Avalon. So we are aware of Midgard's rush for the key. We hold in our nation's borders. Midgard may think they are close to victory, but will soon find out their grave mistake when met with Pythium Blade. We will send their ships back to their nation's beaches full of the dead. Meanwhile, how goes your borders? We have found a great conflict with Satis as a neighbor. We notice your borders are shared with Satis. What say you on your stance with Satis politics? We found them to be very distasteful. And the reason I sent it like that is because I'd like to kind of see where man's opinion is on Satis. I don't think that they're attacking each other, but there's a fortress here, so there may be something going on, and I don't know who actually owns this throne, and I don't know if I can see that. Man has the brass throne, so they own just one that we know of, so we'll have to see who owns this. I'm assuming this is the brass throne, so maybe it's okay. So the lower throne, I'm guessing that's going to be Satis that owns that, right? Yes, that's the only throne. So Satis owns this. So there may be some conflict there between the two. That's something to consider. I'd like to get man in on a war with Satis. It'd really help us out a lot, or at least get them on my side so they don't bother me when I'm going up through Satis territory if we decide to attack. Which I know we're going to, because that's the plan. So I just want to know what his stance is. I basically want to know if they're in an alliance or some type of ceasefire or defensive pact, because I want to know too if like we start rampaging through Satis territory, is man going to feel obligated to aid them? And no, I want to read this. So, and then I sent a really long message to Dwarf Comic here. I said, friend Pangaea, how goes your war with the vile Satis? We currently hold their largest army captive in the southern border of their nation. They dare not move it for risk of our invasion force having a clean cut to their capital. I hope your armies are faring well. We have been recently made aware by information our scouts collected on a throne rush being performed by Midgard. We have come to the realization that we have the key to Midgard's victory within our borders and know that his forces will strike at any month now. We are preparing a contingency force to counter, which may weaken our efforts in the Satis war for the time. We wanted to send you this update to let you know of Midgard, but to also inform you of our war efforts towards Satis coming to a temporary stall while we prevent a Midgard ascension. Once we have dealt, we will be back on the Satis war front lines with a more aggressive approach and look forward to shaking hands with your forces in the center of Satis's burning capital. Until then, Prophet of Slither. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I think Dwarf Comic will enjoy reading that as well. And I just want to keep my friendly alliance with him because he really is a help putting that pressure on Satis's border. I do want to help him out more, and I'm hoping that once our army's freed up by taking this throne, we can push a lot harder, even if we're just making like attacks through these provinces here, kind of like going through and kind of around his main force and start doing some harassing around his provinces. He'll have to chase us around to catch our hydras, etc., and that'll open up some more room for Pangaea to move forward. But if he's going all out with Ulm, which I think he's going to, it may be hard for him to help out in the war effort. So we'll see where that goes. But I think I've covered everything. I don't think there's anything I'm missing. Obviously, I said the units we're recruiting and stuff. Yeah, so I guess that's it. Nice and short episode for this time around. We may have to do another turn like this just because he's in the process of trying to figure out his microphone situation. So we may have one more turn like this and then we should be back to normal. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I do hope that you've enjoyed it and I look forward to seeing you next time.